Welcome to Comic Station, issue number 41 for October 9, 2013. I am Paul Nisi for Front Towards Gamer.
And I'm Scott Cates of the Comic Station.
For the first of the new releases this week, we're going to go for Dark Horse Comics Shaolin Cowboy number 1. Now, this one's really interesting, and it is a fast read, because for about half of it, there is nothing said. I think the Shaolin Cowboy says one word this entire comic. Otherwise, it's really made up of all the other characters that come into and cross his path. It's an interesting story. It starts off, there's probably a little bit more to it, because you open up and he's digging out of the ground. You don't know how he got there or anything, but so I'm sure they're going to go into that story. But, come on, it starts off with, you have zombies, you have a kung fu just monk guy that doesn't say anything, and he has 2 chainsaws on the end of a bow staff.
Doesn't everyone?
Double-ended chainsaw, so that's not a bad weapon. I like it. He obviously has some kind of superhuman ability, just the way he bounds around and throws this chainsaw thing around, and it's pretty interesting. I thought the artwork was really nice, colorful, vibrant, and even though nothing's really said, it does get a message across, which is impressive on its own. There is a little bit of a additional mystery where there's something called YouTube, that has zombies and everything in there, but there is what seems to be a wreckage of a satellite, and some of these astronauts are watching this YouTube equivalent, and they see a video of him up there and somehow recognize him. So what part he plays in that, I'm sure they'll build on that as well. Overall, clean, beautiful, quick read. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing more about that, see what more comes out of it. I don't know, since there was so quote-unquote little in it, if I might wait till the second issue to see if I'm going to pick this up regularly.
I enjoyed the cover, especially the dog running away with the
It's a
hand.
And in the back there's all these other covers that are very psychedelic, very weird, and I liked it.
All right, we got Forever Evil, Arkham War. It's a continuation of Forever Evil, which is going on in the DC Comics world right now.
Tie-ins, love
This
them.
one really focuses on Bane. Bane, the whole city, Gotham City, is now completely under control of pretty much all the criminals. Penguin is your mayor, but there's some reason Bane is coming to town with his army, and he wants something that is in Gotham City. It's pretty good as far as introducing Bane and all the major characters that you know. They're mostly Batman-type characters, because this is Gotham City.
Mm-hmm.
The Justice League is still gone. Batman's nowhere to be found. Commissioner Gordon is pulling his hair out. And Bane is pretty much coming in and wrecking everybody that's in his path. So it's a pretty good read. Artwork is typical of DC. It's very strong, nice clean lines, well written, quick read, and it leaves you wanting a little bit more, which I liked about it. So we'll keep it.
And it's fun. I mean, the inmates are running the asylum, literally.
Literally.
So.
Yeah. It has a lot of the pigs, the PYG pigs.
Yeah.
So which are pretty brutal. Bane comes in and pretty much does his thing.
Yeah.
Cleans house.
All right. And next we have a guest previewer.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Jess. I help out at the Comic Station. Today I'm reviewing Superman and Wonder Woman, number 1. To be perfectly honest, if you like romance novels, this is for you. Darkseid does appear at the end of it, which is very cool. Wonder Woman starts beating the crap out of him. Very quick read. It seems to be the theme for these comics. Not much in the way of substance yet. I liked the way it looked. I liked the way it was written. Not sure if this is actually going to turn into something or not, though.
Yeah, they did bring at least a fairly good team on the artwork and everything that I saw. The storyline kind of is a little expected, and I don't know. She mentioned Doomsday. I guess I kind of feel like they just bring out Doomsday whenever they have to bring out somebody that's like, okay, he's really strong. Like, I feel he's a little overused, but
it's a typical problem when you have 2 superpowered people. There's only so many people that they can go do battle
falls
with.
on an issue.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably a romance.
Yeah, it was really, it reminded me a little of, well, not as cheesy, but a little bit of Twilight-ish. Like, half the time their conversations were about their own relationship.
Well,
and
now it's all.
Yeah, that really just drops it off my radar.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's pretty to look at. Not enough in it to make me as interested, and I was disappointed. I was really looking forward to reading this as soon as we saw it, and I wanted to pick it up. But now I'm not so sure. But it's, like I said, it's good looking enough that I'll try the second one. But after that one doesn't hold up, nah, I'm out. But
all right, at least I didn't say it. So everyone online, if you don't like what she said, aim all your stuff at her, because I didn't say anything bad about it.
That's fine. I'll take the heat.
So, all right, thank you.
No problem.
The next one we have is 3 from Image Comics. Now this one's actually kind of interesting because at first it's tied into the Spartans. So when you think of the Spartans, you usually think of the 300. And this one, however, opens up, and right off the bat, some people aren't even aware of this. All they know is the Spartans are strong, they fight the wars, but they don't know the society that made the Spartans. And in here it opens up right with the rite of passage that all Spartan males had to go through to be inducted into the military, kind of their graduation ceremony, which was they had to go out and kill a Helite. A Helite is even below a slave. They were just this group of people that the Spartans ruled over as slaves, but they were worthless. They tended the field, but once a year the males would go out and basically cull the herd, get rid of the strong helots, and that was their graduation ceremony. And that was also how they kept the helots under heel, even though they were outnumbered 10-1. And this enabled the Spartans to become the military might that they were. This one opens up into that. You get, by the end of the story, you learn all this, and but it's beautifully done. It's a great artwork. There's history woven into it, where one of the helots is a storyteller, so he tells some history, and the artwork is really beautiful. And of course, being as they are, there is a bunch of death. And I like this because I enjoy history, and this is one of the things that some people gloss over in the history books. In the end of this, there is a afterword that I really liked from the writer, and it basically says, like, if you picture the 300 marching to Thermopylae, you usually get this image of impressive men, spears in hand, shield in the other, and just marching off the war. But he's like, change that. Realize that when you picture the 300 marching, they're marching off the war, each of them with a slave behind them carrying their shield for them. So even though the Spartans went out there to protect their freedoms, these other at least 300 slaves also died for a freedom they never had. And as someone that enjoys history, I really liked it. Someone that enjoys comics, I thought it was beautifully done.
Nice.
Little history lesson there.
There you go. And last today, from Vertigo, division of DC, Coffin Hill, just in time for Halloween.
There you go.
It's about a girl from this family, the Coffins as they are known, and it's an old New England family, a lot of money, a lot of weird stuff, kind of like the Kennedys on steroids, and all sorts of bad things seem to happen around this particular family.
Like the Kennedys.
Like the Kennedys, you know, very erudite, very, you know, wealthy, just evil abounds. And she is kind of, as hard as it is to understand a family like that, she is the black sheep of that family. Definitely into witchcraft, and gets her and a bunch of her friends, you know, very typical friends as far as, you know, mohawks, all the typical.
She has to
nonsense.
rebel against the rich family.
They go out. They have a big pentagram. Something happens that night to her and 2 of her friends, and lo and behold, they fall asleep on a bloody altar. Wake up. One of these people is gone, and who knows what happened. And there you have it.
All right, so
until the next issue. It's actually kind of cool. I like the artwork in it, and it was interesting. Kept me thinking.
I did enjoy the artwork in here when I skimmed through it. Obviously, you read it, but I do like it's kicking off our Halloween stories that are obviously going to be coming out as the month rolls on.
Absolutely.
So, this is one of the first ones to hit out, and enjoy your horror and a little mystery in there.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah. Up next, we have a few reviews. For the reviews this week, we're going to kick off with Catalyst Comics number 4 from Dark Horse Comics. This one is actually what Catalyst Comics does is they usually bring in short stories. In this case, it's 3 short stories, 2 of them focusing on Amazing Grace and Mr. Seaver, who is literally an irresistible stranger. No, women can't resist him, and for whatever reasons that aren't quite clear, which we'll get to later, he has his eyes set on Amazing Grace. It's an interesting story where basically the city cedes from the United States, and they're now run by a superhuman president, Amazing Grace. And while she's very hands-on, very super, very fast, very efficient, she's also kind of just airheaded and inept. She's inept, and so government as usual, basically. And while things happen, nothing actually narratively transpires. It's not very impactful. And summing it up, it's just, the quote for this one isn't exactly less flawed than the previous issue, just differently flawed, from Catalyst number 3. It's muddled, confused. Issue number 4 is lazy, stagnant, and it comes off a lot like a filler or a holding pattern. And as usual, that is, as you can tell, Lito.
Yeah, he doesn't pull any punches.
No, and I love it. But yeah, that's kind of the impression I got as well, so he put it very well there. The next issue we have is also from Dark Horse Comics, and this one came off a little bit better, so I'll start with that at least. There is a college student, Rob Bailey, who is imbued with powers from this sacred tome called the Sword, and so kind of standard mystical object storyline. The only real issue that Lito had with this one is that it already pre-exists in Dark Horse Comics Presents, so there's a little bit of a background, but it really lacks a full exposure, especially on the side characters and people surrounding the Occultist. So the other characters don't seem very well fleshed out, and things are happening that maybe would have had more of an impact if you had been reading all the Dark Horse Presents. Going with for Halloween though, he really did enjoy that it's uniquely spooky and horror based, and the visual aesthetics he really enjoyed. The look of it, the feel of it, and it got its message across a lot better than the previous comic that he reviewed. There is a big story that kind of lacks focus, but the cliffhanger ending makes him interested, and so he may have to go back and get that story to fully understand it, but it at least made him interested enough to maybe pay attention to the next one coming out.
Well, you should read Dark Horse Presents. It's actually a very good comic.
Yeah, Dark Horse Presents is an anthology. It gathers a whole bunch of stories, and then once enough comes out, and it's kind of like a testing water, and then once enough people, then they throw out some other stories, and a lot of really good issues have come out of that. But going back, so The Occultist number 1, keeping an eye on it was the overall review. And finally, we're going to end with Cryptozoic.
That's it.
Man.
That's it.
And if you see the cover, it's pig face, monsters, just essentially it's weird for weird's sake, not really much of a story going on. He opens up his review with, there's a very thin line between interestingly weird and completely nonsensical, and he calls that line Cryptozoic Man. It just, it tries, and it never quite teeters into the right direction. And it's confusing and unreliable narrator, just doesn't get anything across. If it had had a more solid narration that had kept the story a little more focused, despite all the weird scenes, it might have had a little bit more of an impact, but overall he was left confused, and because they were so disjointed, he didn't really get invested. So it really could have been improved by a consistent narrator voice overall.
And that's actually very nice from Lito.
Yeah. So if you want to see the full reviews, these are, as always, on frontwardsgamer.com, and hopefully Lito will be joining us full-time soon, so he'll be able to pop these out much faster. and you can read all the wonderful, sweet words he has to say about these comics. So, all right.
That's it.
All right. This has been Comic Station issue number 41 for October 9th, 2013. As always, we will see you next week. I'm Paul Nisi from Front Doors Gamer.
And I'm Scott Cates of the Comic Station.
See ya.
Bye.